Hi guys, it's Ksenia. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have the ultimate springtime perfume list to share with you. It really does not get more spring than the fragrances I'm about to show you today. These are just some of the most ethereal, ultra feminine perfumes you will ever smell. They are so beautiful. And I know when you think of spring, you think of florals.
Florals for spring. Groundbreaking.
But of course, in this channel, I like to incorporate florals, but in a sort of more like sweet way. Still very fresh for the most part in this video because the warmer weather does call for something a little bit lighter, even though, trust me, I don't always follow that rule. Like, I will literally wear my heaviest gourmands whenever I feel like it. But since this is like specifically a springtime video, I am definitely focusing on fragrances that are more lighthearted and super uplifting and just ethereal feminine perfumes. That is basically this video. I've done this video now I think 3 times in the past 3 years that I've had this channel. So if you want even more springtime perfume recommendations, check all my other videos out. I will have them all linked down below, and those are still perfumes that I wear to this day, but I didn't want to be repetitive obviously and just show you like the same recommendations in every video. So everything I'm showing today is all newer fragrances that I'm going to be pulling for this springtime. So with all that being said, let's get straight into it. Please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and turn your post notifications on, and let's get started. This perfume made it really easy to get on this list because of the name. This is by Replica and this is called Springtime in a Park. If you don't know anything about the house of Replica, they replicate memories. That's basically the gist of all their perfumes. So you have Beach Walk, you have Sailing Day, you have Jazz Club, and all these perfumes are supposed to smell like those places and the memory and the kind of scent that you would smell in that particular location. And here they list off where the fragrance is at. It lists off the province and the period. It gives you a little description. And for Springtime in a Park, the province and period is Shanghai 2019. The fragrance description is blossoms and fruity notes. This was a love at first sniff perfume for me. I was at Sephora and I really wanted to try a Replica perfume because I've tried many of them, but I actually don't own a single one up until this one. So I'm like, I really want to own one of these perfumes. And I know that you would typically think I would probably love scents like By the Fireplace, which is sweeter and it has those really warm gourmandy type of notes. But I'm actually not that huge of a fan of By the Fireplace. I actually have a lot of dupes of that perfume in my collection, so I've never felt like I needed it. Same thing goes with Beach Walk. It's like a very beachy type of scent. Again, never felt like I needed it, but I was smelling a bunch of them at Sephora and I went to this one and I fell so in love with it, but they were out of stock and it was out of stock on a lot of Sephoras around me, but I loved it so much that I had to just order it on the actual Replica website. I know judging by the name, you would think this would be ultra floral, and although yes, there's florals in here, it's actually dominated a lot more by fruits, I would say, than it is floral. It's a fruity floral, not a floral fruity fragrance, if that makes sense. This is beauty in a bottle. I see this as like a wedding time scent. It's so ethereal and literally one of the most feminine smelling scents. The juice even has this pink hue to it. This has pretty simple notes. It has lily of the valley, pear, and musk. So you don't really have like a crazy long list of florals in here for this to really put you off if you are a floral hater, because all you get here is lily of the valley, which is a really pretty floral. But when it's mixed with that pear is one of my favorite fruits in fragrances. It always just gives off this juicy sweetness, and that in combination with the lily of the valley with a little bit of that musk, it is just so beautiful. This smells so clean, but still having originality and still having character to it. It smells like you just got out of the shower. If you're looking for just an ultra feminine scent, especially to wear this springtime, check out Springtime in a Park. Next up, I have to talk about this again because I haven't actually talked about it ever since the first impression that I did with this. This is Cosmic by Kylie Jenner. This is the very controversial perfume that she came out with. I have an entire dedicated review to this where I go into notes and I talk about this very thoroughly in that video, so you can check that video out if you want to know even more about this perfume. But this is such a beautiful springtime scent because just like that Springtime in a Park, it's a beautiful musky floral while still having a good amount of sweetness to it. I honestly did not expect to fall so in love with this perfume, but I truly find it to be so beautiful. It's so feminine again, and for a celebrity perfume, it actually is pretty unique in my opinion. I don't actually think this smells that generic. I've had my nose on a lot of perfumes, okay? By now, I have a huge collection. I've had an even bigger collection in the past, but I can honestly say I've never smelled a perfume quite like this one. I think this smells amazing. In here, you have jasmine, you have blood orange. For the middle notes, you have red peony and amber. In base notes, you have musk, vanilla, and cedar. I would say this is a very nice ambery type of scent that has a little bit of like a zestiness, just a little bit. Definitely smell that peony. I love the scent of peony. It's like a warm, sweet floral. So if you are a floral hater, I think peony is definitely a note to look into if you want to get into florals without doing too much. And then you do also have vanilla in here, so you're gonna get your little sweet fix, but it's gonna be more of a musky vanilla with a touch of like this cedary woodiness to it. It's so freaking beautiful. I love it. Another one of my favorites, Jo Malone Scarlet Poppy. I would describe this as a creamy floral, if that makes any sense. This to me is the perfume equivalent to Velvet Petals by Victoria's Secret. I'm sure a lot of you know what that body mist smells like. It's been out for a long time, but Velvet Petals is such a beautiful body mist. It's a body mist that literally gets me more compliments than some of my actual super expensive perfumes do. So it's always one I've held close, and as I have that perfume in my collection, I always was like, I need a perfume that smells like this. Like, that would be my dream perfume. And then I found it. I smelled this randomly at a Sephora, and I walked out the store and I'm like, this smells like Velvet Petals. My mind was literally blown. I had to buy it soon after that. I actually think I got this as a birthday gift like last year or something. In here you have fig, which is strong in here. Again, it's a very juicy, sweet type of fruit that has a lot of depth into it. It's not just like an airy, fleeting type of fruit that you smell for 2 seconds. No, you're gonna smell that in here a lot, but also in combination with that beautiful poppy flower, which I also did a full dedicated review to this perfume, which I will also link up here. And I tell you in that video a little bit of a story. I kind of have this nostalgic story associated with poppy, so it's just a floral that I just love so much because it reminds me of my childhood. And you also get tonka bean in here, which I think is what is giving this really rounded out creaminess to all the notes that are pretty much in here. I love this perfume so much. I think if you love Velvet Petals, you would love Scarlet Poppy. This next perfume was actually sent to me. It's the only perfume that was sent to me in this entire video, but it was recently sent to me. This is by M. Micallef. So M. Micallef reached out to me on Instagram, which was mind-blowing. I'm like, what? You want to send me perfume? They sent me like 3 of the perfumes. It was beautifully packaged. They literally had gift wrapped everything. It was literally beautiful. Thank you so much to them. And no, this video is not sponsored. They did not tell me to make a video or nothing like that, but I have to include this one specifically in this video because, oh, wow. This perfume is called Eau Feminine. And first of all, the bottle. Gorgeous. We have top notes of petted grain, mandarin orange, bergamot, lemon, and pink pepper. So tons of really zesty citrus with also a little bit of this green touch and a touch of spice because of that pink pepper, which is a note I also love. We have middle notes of jasmine, neroli, and rose, and base notes of orange blossom, vanilla, patchouli, musk, and sandalwood. When I first smelled this perfume, I loved it because it reminded me of another one of my favorite perfumes, Alien. It reminds me so much of Alien. I think that definitely has to do with the jasmine that's here. It has a very similar smelling jasmine to the jasmine that I love in my Alien. But this one is definitely a little bit different. I would say when it first starts off, it starts off more of a greener version of Alien. But as this dries down, there is something so expensive smelling, even more than Alien, which is crazy because Alien already smells super expensive to me, but this just smells even more expensive. I mean, it is more expensive. It has these green touches that I'm addicted to. The neroli also gives this a really beautiful touch. I think the neroli mixed with the jasmine work really well in this perfume, but it still has a good amount of sweetness to it. It's not too sweet, but kind of the same way that Alien does have a little bit of sweetness to it, this does have vanilla in it. So although it is very jasmine forward, it's still very smooth and it doesn't feel too much. It's not a punchy perfume. It smells so expensive, and this is definitely gonna be for like those date night, springtime nights because this is just so sexy to me. I read a comment, I think in my last video that I did, or I don't know when this video is gonna go up, so that probably doesn't make any sense to you, but somebody in the comments were like, is there a single video where she doesn't say the word sexy? And no. And I replied back, I'm like, Probs not. Because yes, I literally say the word sexy in every single one of my videos, but what do you want me to do? I talk about sexy perfumes. Those are the perfumes that I love, so I have to describe it as sexy because that's what they are. And I'm gonna use it again because this is sexy. Next up, I'm holding on to this for dear life. This perfume was actually given to me by my mom because she just couldn't finish it for some reason, and so she gave it to me. And at first I'm like, sure, I'll take it, really not expecting to fall in love with it. And then one day I was going to the gym and I'm like, let me put that perfume on, like it's already almost used up. I think she gave it to me pretty much at like right here, so I'm like, let me throw it on just as like a gym time fragrance. I really wasn't thinking too much about it, like, oh, I love that perfume. I just wanted to throw something on that wasn't too heavy, and so I pulled for this, and ever since then I'm so freaking in love with this. Do they make this anymore? I don't know. This is by Lancome. It's called Tresor in Love. This reminds me actually a lot of that Springtime in a Park by Replica perfume, now that I'm thinking about it, because it's definitely a sweet floral kind of scent. It definitely has some sweet fruits to it. Let me just look up the notes. So this has top notes of nectarine, pear, pink pepper, and bergamot, middle notes of Taif, rose, peach, violet, and jasmine, and base notes of musk and Virginia cedar. In this, I think what mostly I can smell is violet, and I love violet. Violet is another very sweet floral, but violet also gives off a powdery sort of vibe, and this has it, just a little touch, because normally I don't like overly powdery kind of perfumes. They bother my nose and they just bother me throughout the day, but in here it has this perfect touch of almost like a clean powderiness that violet gives off, and intertwined with that pink pepper, it gives it a little spice, just a little bit, but also pear. We have pear in here, which definitely makes sense. That's why I compared it to Springtime in a Park, because to me I think this smells similar because it's also a sweet floral, and a lot of that sweetness definitely comes from that juicy pear that both of those perfumes have. Ultra feminine, another very clean, sweet floral scent that has a good amount of fruitiness to it. So beautiful. I need to make like a wedding perfume recommendations video. Honestly, I feel like if I did that though, a lot of these perfumes that I'm mentioning in this video would probably be in that video, because all these perfumes are so feminine and exactly what I think of when I think of wedding. So if you have a wedding coming up, take this video as like wedding recommendations pretty much also. Okay, next, I have this Sizzly perfume. This is called Le Rêve d'Elia. I discovered this perfume actually from a Scentbird sample. I worked with Scentbird a little while back, and one of the perfumes they sent me was this perfume, and I fell so in love with it that I had to buy it in a full size. And that happens to me a lot. I'm so grateful to work with these companies because I've discovered some of my favorite perfumes through them that I end up buying with my own money, and that's what happened to me with the Sizzly perfume. This is so beautiful. I am normally not one to love musk dominate perfumes, and I would say that is definitely what this is, but I don't know, I feel like we all can relate, and I think we all have those perfumes where you might hate that specific note that's in that perfume, but just the way it's mixed with other notes that are in that perfume makes you love that perfume as a whole, even though you might actually just hate the notes that are in that perfume. And I think that's this perfume for me, because this is dominated by musk, and weirdly enough there isn't even a musk note in the notes of this perfume, but not even spraying this out I can smell musk. Like, it's a musky perfume. This one has floral notes, bergamot and lemon, middle notes of jasmine, violet, and tuberose, and base notes of ambrette, patchouli, and cedar. This again has that sweet powderiness that violet gives off. I feel like violet almost gives off a baby powder type of scent, low-key. It doesn't smell like baby powder, but just that sweet powderiness that it gives off that vibe, and even almost like a musky feel. Oh, it's so freaking beautiful. It opens up so zesty and crisp and citrusy, because obviously the lemon and the bergamot, but then almost immediately I get that violet, and we also have tuberose in here, so it does have this white floral vibe as well. And in the base you have the ambrette, which gives off this like musky-ish kind of vibe. This has a little touch of patchouli. It's not a dirty patchouli or anything like that. It's very clean and like clean musk for the most part, and of course very, very woody, which I love. The cedar in here is prominent, and I love it. Another new favorite of mine, I have to include You Remind Me by Forever Mood. This is Jackie Aina's brand. She just recently launched these 4 perfumes that were on Sephora, as well as you can get them on the Forever Mood website. And this was my favorite, which is so odd because pretty much all 3 of the other perfumes are all sweeter fragrances. And I'm definitely more of a sweet perfume lover, but clearly I've come around on the florals and the fresh kind of fragrances. I'm just very picky when it comes to these types of scents. So when I recommend these, you know I love them, because when it comes to florals and cleaner fragrances, I still need my little sweet fix. So a lot of these have that, and I definitely need my freshies to have character, to have personality. I can't just have a fleeting, fresh, fruity kind of scent that disappears off in 2 seconds. And these are not those perfumes. These are all freshies with personality. And You Remind Me happened to be the freshest out of all 4 that she came out, and yet I fell in love with this way more than all the others. This is so good. Another one that I would say perfect wedding time scent. This is Apricot Skin, Orange Blossom, and Sensual Musks. And I said it in the dedicated review that I did to this, which I also did that. I'm gonna link all these videos I'm mentioning in this video in the description box, because by now I think I've referenced to like 10 videos of mine, but they'll all be down there if you want any specific video. But again, I went way in depth and kind of told you the story of why I love this in comparison to the other 3. This definitely has an emphasis on that sensual musks. This is so sexy while still being clean, kind of floral, but I mean, you get that apricot skin. I feel like it gives a little sweetness in here, and it's not necessarily like a fruity scent. It's just so good. This is a very perfumey smelling perfume, if that makes sense. I love it. If you want to hear way more on it, check that video. And then this, I think this might be a repeat, honestly, but I couldn't not include it, and I was kind of going back and forth because I also wanted to include my Dolce by Dolce & Gabbana, which, if you know, you know. If you're a regular viewer of mine, you know how much I love that perfume, but I was just like, let me just include this. This is Irresistible by Givenchy. This is a masterpiece. So beautiful. I would probably say not even in my top 10 most complimented, but probably my top 5 most complimented scents ever. I've never gotten so many compliments on a perfume. Everyone loves this, specifically men, I've noticed. And you know what I just realized? A lot of these perfumes that are very feminine and get a ton of compliments, like that Springtime in a Park and Tresor in Love, and now this, they all have pear. Pear must be this like aphrodisiac kind of note, because everybody gravitates toward it, me included. I love pear notes, and that is kind of the basis of this perfume. This has a juicy sweet pear note, and that is kind of the key. You also get iris in here, which gives off this sort of makeup-y, lipsticky kind of smell, which I love. It's also kind of musky, but also very cedar-like. So honestly, it's kind of, again, reminding me of that Springtime in a Park fragrance, and even the Tresor in Love. I think that pear is similar in all 3 of these perfumes. I honestly couldn't think of a better name for this perfume because it truly is irresistible. And that concludes all my springtime recommendations for spring 2024. I love this lineup. This will definitely kind of be at the forefront of my collection this springtime. I think these are the perfumes that I'm going to pull for the most. Of course, I'm going to pull for other perfumes that I love, that I just wear all year round. And honestly, I'm not really one to follow too strictly when it comes to like seasonal perfumes. I literally wear whatever I want, whenever I want. I don't care how hot it is or how cold it is. I mean, I guess there's kind of exceptions. Like I wouldn't wear an ultra gourmand scent when it's like 200 degrees outside, mainly because, you know, I don't want to take myself out. But you know what I mean, like we wear whatever we want, whenever we want. But if you want just like a pure springtime scents, this is definitely the video to reference. I love these picks. A lot of them are new discoveries that I've fallen in love with and will be staying in my collection for the foreseeable future. But that is it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this lineup. Let me know any other springtime recommendations you might have in the comments down below. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and turn your post notifications on, and I will see you in my next video.